factory. And so for them to have done this, they acquired a club in Denmark. They brought Nordsjælland over. Years down the line, they've acquired San Diego. Like I said earlier, the US or the MLS is having a 32 team expansion, and so this is team number 30 for the expansion. And so they have done this to be able to funnel their talent. They basically want to be able to pick Ghanaian talent here and place them in America. I won't take coach's thoughts on what he thinks about the level of football there and if it's good for our talent because you've been there. But let me just take your thoughts on this, Susu. So, I mean, you followed at least, or you know the Right to Dream story. What's your biggest takeaway from all of what they are doing, really?
GFA is not doing enough to develop football. Because why should someone come from his country and it's like now he's producing players for the national team regularly? They are producing players to go to European leagues. If you look at the players Right to Dream has produced and you compare to all the other clubs and academies in this country, it's not close. Why is this the case? What is he doing that? And we who we know where the talent is our country, we are not able to do it. It's embarrassing, to be frank. It's very embarrassing. And that's why they keep getting results. They keep making more money. They keep expanding, buying teams, doing this, doing that. Because it's working. There's a lot of money to be made in player trading. We spoke about this the last time. Ghanaian players are moving around, but there's sums they are moving around for. Peanuts.
Paltry sums.
Peanuts. You have the best player in our league, then they'll go to somewhere like Algeria
for $100,000 or less.
100,000. That's on the top end. often it's like 50,000, 40,000,
35.
Yeah, like it's not good enough. Like we
35 is somebody's salary a week.
Thank you. And we keep talking about how we are good footballing. There is no country that's good at football that has a weak league, in the sense that their league is not competitive. Let's say even France, who they are not particularly successful in Europe. Their league, when their teams go in Europe, they make a dent. They are not disgraced in Europe. They are not the best of the best, but they go and they actually stand for something. You get there's no country that we can't even get into the group stage of the Champions League.
Shameful.
Our domestic football is dead.
How many years?
The last time
I got 2012.
Yes.
Protocol.
Yeah,
in the Champions League.
When I think about it, it's too outstanding for me to even wrap my brain around. Like just the group stage,
and it's not going to.
We can't get into the group stage.
We, like I said on Scorecard some few weeks ago, we are 15 years behind.
Finish on your point.
That's my whole point. We will give the Right to Dream guys credit because they've done very well. Of
course.
But for me, it's a problem that someone has come from his country. He can see the talent. He's taken advantage of the talent. He's made himself rich off the talent. And we are sitting here letting him do it. I'm not saying we should be afraid of foreign investment. This is not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that we are here in the country. Why aren't we taking advantage of our own natural resources?
I feel like, and that's the problem for me. I feel like he's provided a blueprint for it. And it's hard to do if you want to produce excellence, but if you want to do it, you can do it. And he's proven it.
Look, and I think if the GFA was to even copy his model, let's say they want to do
and that's something like this for the
if they do one, maybe somewhere eastern region,
they say there's land
for the southern area, then another one for the northern belt, whatever.
Look,
we have two. We'll be fine. We'll be ahead.
I spoke to Derek Watson some few months ago during the World Cup. He and myself happened to be on the platform, so I was very much interested in how they do things at Right to Dreams. Look, and the sort of things he says.
No, if you haven't gone there before, you should probably take an excursion there if they allow.
The sort of things he says, the manner in which they go about their recruitment. The next moment, Derek is going to Morocco. The next moment, he's going to Côte d'Ivoire. The next moment, he's in Senegal. So now, what is even more dangerous now is that the Ghanaian players are now being made to compete at that level with foreigners. At first, the academy was made up of only Ghanaians.
Their academy is mixed up.
And if you go and see the mix up, the blend, it tells you that these people are indeed a global brand.
A lot of Malians, a lot of Ivorians in there.
What at all are they doing? That we can look. I think
they take education seriously as well.
Of course. Look, I was part of,
and even for
I was part of the
not even to cut you, right? But for even those who have interest in education, who don't think that they'll be good enough to make it in the football. A lot of them end up in universities in the United States.
Look,
and a lot of them have made careers out of it.
The truth is, most players at that level, to become a top level footballer, if there's 100, maybe 2 or 3 will make it. Yes. So you need to give them the opportunity to do. And I think that's another thing we struggle with our league. That a lot of our players, they are not educated enough. Because I remember we were talking about a certain player. They had to go abroad, sign a contract. They couldn't write. They had to
thumbprint. Look,
that kind of thing. We need to do.
I was part of the JMFL commission. When I say part, I mean they set up a technical team.
Yeah.
And we were tasked to give Ghana an identity. The late Uncle Ben Kofi, the late Coach Samadi, Masawu Didi Dramani. Where is he now? He's at Right to Dreams, isn't it?
Yeah.
Professor Mintah, Otiakenten. Myself, I was the secretary to the committee. And then my good friend, Coach Opele, who is now, but at the time, Opele was so busy that he couldn't depart. Look, the job we did, the sort of things we did, Uncle Ben Kofi, the late, at his age, the sort of ideas the man has. Don't forget, he gave us that 5-year development plan that took Ghana to the World Cup for the very first time. So when such a man speaks, tag some of us, Coach, go and study the Spanish model. Go and study the French model. Go and study the German model. Let's put them together. Let's design a brand that will allow the Ghanaian player, per his physique and his mentality, to flourish, so that we will get our teams at every level, both male and female, playing a certain brand of football. We did all these things. Look, that was one of my disappointment of the Kwesi Nyantakyi regime, because at the time, truth be told, I will say it here, they were not in support of that technical team working for the JMFL Commission. That is why after the report, they said they packed the report somewhere and threw it somewhere. And then the current FA, they know where that report is. The moment they decided to get rid of Oti Akenten, that was where I met Oti and I told Oti, Ghana, we will suffer because it is all about hatred. We don't like to see people who are honest and sincere flourish in whatever they do. Today, Right to Dreams are doing the exact things that we have documented in that report. I sit here today and I weep. And I say, may the soul of Uncle Ben Kofi and Coach Sam Ade, who at the time were not well, they committed themselves. Look, there were times where we go and meet at 1 p.m. and we leave the FA premises at 1 a.m. I remember one day at 1 a.m., I stayed directly opposite to where Uncle Ben Kofi stayed. He asked me, Chris, how are you going to get home? I said, Uncle, I don't have a car. I need to get myself a taxi. He said, no, I'll drive you home. I said, what? No, Daddy, you're supposed to go back home. He said, no, I'll drive you home. Look, truth, and Uncle Ben, all those who know, when he speaks, he expects you to accept and then let go. The man drove, Nketsia, the man drove me home. From there, he drove all the way back to Dansoma. And I told him that, Daddy, I will not sleep until you tell me that you've reached home. And when he got, he said, oh, Meba, I've made with you until ever to me ada. That's the way he's a typical Fanti. He speaks Fanti. And if I sit down and I cast my mind back to all these things, I have no option than to weep.
Like I said, our football is in trouble. You just need to look at Cote d'Ivoire and Senegal to actually wake up to what is happening.
You mentioned Morocco and Senegal. Guess what? Those two are competing for the African under 17 championship final tomorrow. They are playing in the
and like
final.
we said,
And Mali and Burkina Faso played in the third and fourth place game.
What haven't Senegal have had their footprints on this year? Everything.
They've won everything.
From beach soccer,
Yes.
AFCON, under 20, women. They've been everywhere.
And the thing is, with the right to dream thing,
Just
I think they are
snap it.
following the international model. Because it is owned right now. It is owned by an Egyptian billionaire, Mohamed Manso.
Yeah.
And you see what Man City is doing. They own teams all over the world. They own a team in Australia. They own a team in the MLS.
Yeah.
They own a team in Spain. Girona play in the La Liga.
Yeah.
It's the same thing they are modeling.
Red Bull are doing
Red Bull, exactly. So the right to dream style.
Now Brighton and Hove Albion, I believe,
They are doing
also
same.
doing the same thing.
Atletico Madrid, they also have some multiple teams around the world. Initially, they had Atletico Kolkata and all. They've dished it. And so that is the international model that Right to Dream Academy is following. And so, yeah, it's modern, it's sustainable because they are structured. So they take the players through a systemic cycle. It's not haphazard like the way we do things here. And that is the
When they
reason...
see that you arrive small, or you need to go so that we can take their money.
Exactly. And that is the reason why they are churning out players who are consistently good at the international level. And we can't do it consistently because it's a hit and miss.
Mention names, but look at some of our players from the under-20 team that recently won the AFCON. Some of them have gone abroad. And they are playing Portuguese third tier, something 40 and things.
Yes,
Because
they weren't given enough patience and they weren't run through the proper system. Every team is not fit for every player.
For all you know, we didn't even take the best player in that position to the tournament.
You get it. And for instance, you look at Erling Haaland, he's producing, but put Erling Haaland in another team where he isn't surrounded by a specific collection of players, he won't be able to produce at this historic level. So you need to find the player's weakness and strength and find a proper place to put him. But for us, we are in a haste to just ship them out because as long as the 10,000 euro comes in, as long as the 20,000 euro comes in, you can afford to buy a Benz, you can afford to buy a Range Rover. And the owner doesn't care. Just go. Then they ship the players out. And you and I know that these guys aren't ripe enough. The conditions out there, they are tough.
Even if they stay, what are they going to learn?
Exactly. And I think what has helped Right to Dream also is that they've stayed true to their purpose. No interest in our local league. And that's helping them. They stay focused.
They have not diluted their interest.
If you try to, let me compete in our Division 1, Division 2 and all that, that's where you get extra issues.
Quality loss of quality.
Exactly.
The most they do is play friendlies against
exactly.
Quality loss of quality.
I like the fact that they stayed true to their policies.
You associate yourself with machinations.
Where's
Wi-Fi? Look, I have Wi-Fi. Wednesday means it will also rob off.
I think let me make that point. So I think they've done well to stay true to their nature or their purpose. No need to try and add extra cost by playing in our local league where you have to be involved in all this. You can go away game and then you'll be beaten and all. No, they stayed true. And I think
you have to walk backwards into the stadium.
This is what
Kolo. What sort of kolo behavior is that?
I think that this is some stuff for them. And also this new adventure for them in the USA is a huge one for our talent. It tells them now that, see, the franchise is growing now. When I put in more effort in Ghana and I'm good enough, I can go to the US straight from Ghana. So it's a huge platform for them. And I think that kudos to Sheikh Mansour for this initiative. It's a huge one for Ghana football.
And one of their products, Shako Mohammed,
he was drafted number 2.
Yes, he recently graduated from Duke University. So that gives you.
Duke is an elite Division 1 school.
Yeah, that just gives you impetus for
that. Says he's never going to play football. That degree is
a lot.
One other thing that they're doing that I think we need to commend most people is that's education and football together.
When we said that in the commission's report, we said that was in 2014, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're almost how many years after 2014? So 6. That's about 9 years now.
Yeah, almost a decade.
In that report, what we said was that in the next 15 years, if the boy and the girl child are not educated, they should come nowhere closer.
Exactly.
Football.
At least the basics.
We were bent, and Uncle Ben Coffee was bent that statement should be emphasized.
We need to move away from this football being for the kubolo and all that. Because see, it's so sad when our players are good here, but they go outside the country and they can't play.
Let me tell you a typical example. I don't like to make examples of people. Let me tell you a typical example of the story you're talking about. Sadiq Adams, our very own, very talented Sadiq Adams. Remember,
Two contracts.
He went into a certain, I don't know what happened with him in that decision-making process. He got into a tangle with multiple agents, signed for one team, regretted, wanted to rescind, signed for another team, landed in a ban. His career just spiraled out.
This guy was at Atletico Madrid's academy and he was with David De Gea.
Listen to me. He said he used to watch De Gea's mom drive De Gea to the academy every single day. Drive him. Like, De Gea is not a hustler. He's not somebody who was hungry. No, he came. He came
drove
from
him to
an educated home. He decided to play football. He had parents who wanted to invest in his interest. He was being driven to the academy. Sadiq Adams, I think his career ended prematurely because he's not announced his retirement now, but he took some decisions. All these things matter. Look, these people get taken through how to deal with the media. Look, the Right to Dream kids, they are super smart kids. Like,
one of these days, I will try and talk to Derek Boateng. No more call, but we're coaching him in war. I'll try and talk to him. He should come and sit here.
And talk to us about it.
Let's listen to Adjei-Mintah. He's the CEO of Right to Dream. He's doing a wonderful job running that academy as we speak. Now let's listen to him speak on this new acquisition, and then we'll move on to some other issues.
It's been a few years in the making. Ever since the Mansos joined as the majority investors, we had talked about finding a place that will provide another option for our players, but also a place that will support the vision, which is to expand the brand and the program that we run here. So I'll say about 2-3 years in the making, and then finally it came to pass. I was only marginally involved, but I can say, Major League Soccer and American sports in general at the high levels, it's almost like a club of owners. It's a really hard nut to crack in terms of trying to come to the table. So you have to have a lot of things in place. And I think our track record was really, really helpful. Mr. Mansour's reputation for his level-headedness and his seriousness about investment was really, really helpful. But we had to partner with, the Sequan tribe, which is located in San Diego, so that we can have sort of a local feel to it.
So you had Adjei-Mintah there. Charlie, Right to Dream doing some really good stuff. So big ups to them. I just hope that our other, bystanders will just pick a thing or two from this blueprint. It's yielding results. It's right before your eyes. You are calling for us to build a national team around Kudus and Kamaldeen. Do you know where he came from? Let's move it on. Let's talk about the Champions League. Mesmerizing week for me, personally, as a Real Madrid fan. I'm
here to say I told you so.
It's all good. When you follow the holy institution for so long, you know that everything is possible, and that's the one driving force behind Real Madrid. You know that it's not. They say that when you are playing against Real Madrid, you don't stop playing until their bus has left the stadium. So not even when they walk off the pitch, until the bus has left the stadium. And so that's the belief that you have behind a team like that. Trust me, if you asked Real Madrid if they were going to get thumped by 4-0, I'm sure they would have been in denial. I thought that Carlo made a few selection, mishaps, but again, he's the manager. He watches training. I don't watch training.
I'll be honest. I don't think any
version
would have
done anything.
Been able to deal
let's talk about that. What stood out the most for you tactically from both managers on the day?
I think we have to talk about the Man City press. I think they didn't allow Madrid to play at all. Look, Madrid didn't have a pass in the Man City half until the 25th minute. You can check this. And this was because they got the kickoff after the goal. They couldn't get out. So you see someone like Rodrigo. I was watching the match with my dad. Yeah. My dad said, he thinks Rodrigo should have started. I said, Daddy, Rodrigo did start.
He did start.
They couldn't get into the game. That was just the way it was.
Vinicius was struggling to get a touch.
No, because the way the game was set up. And for me, it just vindicates what I felt last season, that Madrid were a bit lucky. Because I think if this game was similar to last year in the sense that City were just more clinical. Because the 4-3 at the Etihad last year shouldn't have been a 4-3, if you remember that game. And then, was it 2-1 or 3-1 they lost at the Bernabeu after extra time? Again, you play the whole game, you don't get a shot on target until the 85th minute or 89th minute, and you win the game. It's a bit unheard of. So I think Pep just knew. He knew they had what it takes to beat Real Madrid. It didn't happen the last time.
Yeah.
So, and I think there was a bit of an advantage of playing the home leg second.
Hmm.
That always helps. Because remember I said it.
I always said it. Playing first at home is always not good for you.
And that's why I said,
I've always held that belief. Just
I remember we were talking that I
Mm-hmm.
said City have not lost at home in
Mhm.
Europe for 5 years. It means something. I mean, we all thought that if anyone could break them, it would be Real Madrid. But if you pay attention to their results this season, if you also pay attention, you know they've not won away since match day 1.
Hmm.
So the whole year they've been drawing away,
The
winning
signs
at
have been there.
drawing away, winning at home. So they go there and get the draw. You know, it's a very cagey game, and they come at home. They are ready to explode. So I think everything fell into place for them this year. And when you look at the final, this is one of the easier finals Pep Guardiola will get in terms of quality. I know Adjei-Mintah disagrees, and he thinks that Inter are going to win the game easily.
Hmm.
But I do
Talk about that. An alternate opinion. I want to hear what he has to say in defense of
I
that.
honestly don't see it. And I think they can cause them trouble because the fact that the pressure is off them, you know, they can sit back.
They are the underdogs. Nobody's
Underdogs,
expecting
there's no
them to win.
expectations on them. That's a plus. But I just don't know how to be able to cope because we've seen better teams just be crushed by Man City, basically. So it's going to be very difficult. But I think Pep got it right this year. I think sometimes he gets a few. I think he got everything right and everything went
Everything
his
just
way.
fell. I'm sure.
Whereas last year,
That man is just obsessive. I'm sure he's not
Whereas
even
last
slept heading to the game.
Whereas last year, I think he got things right last year, but things didn't go his way. Because you remember Grealish misses that chance.
Yeah.
Benzema is scoring some goals that shouldn't be scored.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on. I think he just got them at the right time. I think Benzema was a bit off form. Modric too was now returning from an injury. So everything is, you know, is looking good for him. And honestly, if he doesn't win it, I don't see him ever winning it because this Inter Milan team is the easiest final he's going to get of all the finals he's played.
Interesting thoughts there.
Then,
Yeah.
quick one.
Yeah.
I think that if there was a manager who knows how to deal with Real Madrid, it's Pep Guardiola. From his Barcelona days, he's always found a way to humiliate them in big
Real
games.
Madrid have dealt with him
Exactly.
properly in his Bayern Munich
Yeah,
period.
as well. So
We gave him heartbreak last season.
I thought that he had already thought about what happened last year, and I'm sure ahead of this game, he had analyzed how he was going to win this one, and thankfully for him also, Ancelotti played the game safely into his hands. And I think that for a coach that the world was praising Rudiger for, I don't know, his defending against Haaland. Well, the fact that Haaland didn't score in the first leg, so many thought Rudiger had done quite a good job. And then in the second leg, he prefers Alaba, who is not a.
No, he
a-
preferred
Militao.
Militao.
It was Militao, Alaba.
It's more so that he didn't want
Alaba and Rudiger.
Alaba, Rudiger.
because
Yeah.
Militao was suspended.
So that option
So you-
to
you- so
let
you- so you
Haaland
feel
Would
like
have
if-
played Rudiger if Militao wasn't suspended. That's the truth.
For point.
see, but I thought that once Rudiger had that first leg
Managers barely ever do that.
performance,
They feel like
Yeah.
there's always a pecking order in his
That's
mind.
his first
Exactly.
choice
Yeah.
centre back.
it was a gamble he
Militao
see.
and Alaba.
It
There's
was
a
a gamble
pressure
he
on it.
took. If it had worked, I would have been here praising Ancelotti for a
I
tactical.
wouldn't even say it's a gamble.
brilliance
He
and all
went
that.
back to his first
See,
choice.
Well,
Once it didn't work,
See, okay,
and
finish.
yeah, once it didn't work, we are here. But I thought that it played into what Pep was expecting. Pep expected what Ancelotti would do because it got to a point where Real Madrid were in so much hurry that they were losing the balls quickly. They just couldn't find each other on the pitch. It's like, let me play the ball fast so that I just
That's what I'm saying. It's the
move
Man
on.
City press. So it's not that they were
You see,
in a rush.
And this was the moments where you were thinking that, with all the experience Ancelotti has, he could have been able to calm his players down. That we've been here before. We are playing against a team that wants to win badly, but calm down, string the passes together, let's move on. But
it's easier said than done.
I know, but they just couldn't come to the party on that day. And if not for Thibaut Courtois, I tell
Oh,
you,
it would have been six.
Madrid could have taken or been humiliated. Yes, more than 6. It could have been 9. I think Thibaut Courtois made a scoreline, a respectable scoreline. But clearly, Ancelotti did exactly what Pep Guardiola wanted him to do. And
Let me take Coach's thoughts
Susu
on this.
said,
We need to move the
Inter Milan is not an easy final. Let me counter this.
Oh yeah, it's not an easy
Inter Milan is never an easy final. We may think, maybe looking at what City are doing so far is good, but let me tell you, the Italians, and their tactical knowledge of the game and what they do
I'll come
one-offs.
I'll come into that.
Never
in a
write
bit
them
because
off.
that's something I want to talk
Never
about.
write them off.
Just quick thoughts on the tactical
Look,
battle that took place between
I
Ancelotti
agree.
and
I agree with you 100%. That he shouldn't have taken off Rudiger. Look, if you look at the way Man City play, since they got Haaland, they always acknowledge that focal point. So when every game starts, within the first 10 to 15 minutes, they want to go to him.
get him involved as
Get
much as
him
possible.
involved as much as he can. If they go 1, 2, 3, and he's not being able to establish himself, then they try to go the alternative way. But in that game on Wednesday, from the word go, he got involved.
Haaland party.
The header.
He didn't score, but he was keenly involved. And for me, that is where, look, when I saw the you remember I said here last week that there's one change I would have made. I wouldn't have started Tony Cruz.
Yeah, I
I
remember.
would have put in Chouameni.
Exactly. I remember that
Because
statement.
at the end of the day, you are going away to a footballing team. You need players who's got proper energy.
Who can
to
cover
bear.
the ground?
Players who can cover the ground. And then tactically also, they started very deep, which is what they did in the first, which I agree with. But the moment the press was so intense from Man City, all they needed to do was to keep the Brazilian boy very high up the pitch. Man City had high line. Go beyond them. With Modric and Valverde, I think that even with Alaba, they had the technical players to pick those passes behind, because see, something should have been done to push Man City further backwards. But once they also insisted on passing through the press, you clearly saw how uncomfortable they were. And credit, in my view, should be given to Man City. Look, this is the standard they have set. If you want to compete with them, if you want to dethrone them, then you have to match them in every department. In terms of owners, in terms of coaching, in terms of player player quality, in terms of everything, proper organizational structure, you need to match them. So I'll take this opportunity to tell you how most of the media in England have been behaving as hypocrites. Serious hypocrites.
Are you going there?
Hold on. Are you going where I think you are
Coach,
going?
you're
That's where I'm going.
Coach, you are going there. Coach,
You wait.
Coach,
Let me land. Look,
Hold on. Are you going where I think
Coach,
you are going?
if you listen to Gary Neville,
Oh.
City are unstoppable. They are bombastic. They are that. Ferdinand, what? City, they are the two.
But that's what they are.
How did they get there?
Isn't that what they've been?
That is who and what they are. But how did they get
But
there?
you, Manchester United have as much
come-
money, even without
No.
Arab money.
The Glazers have destroyed our team. We want to match.
You can
Man
buy a
City.
player like Maguire for over 80 million, and you say your team has been destroyed.
Maguire, Ole Gunnar. So you see, he's not talking. He should keep quiet. No more. The
Point
fact
made.
is this.
Point made. Your team will be bought.
Now, no, my people want a recent update. No more. Keep praying. Hey, it is almost there.
Coach, it's not easy. Oh.
We cough it. No, today even look, go on. Even the British people are now saying that their media is actually biased towards Qatar. They've seen the need. The Glazers, for once, they will think about Manchester United. They will think about what is good for this team. And from what some of us are hearing, we are almost there.
Okay.
Atani is almost beyond the finish line.
This week news broke that he's
I
made
know.
an improved
Another
bid.
bit.
Wakachete.
And there's also reports that he's beginning to doubt if the Glazers are actually interested
No,
in selling.
we are giving them an offer to go and do some business also in Qatar.
Fair
Those
point.
ones, they will not appear in the document.
Speaking on what coaches speak, I don't think the Glazers will ever do what's best for United. They'll do
No,
what's
they
best
won't.
for themselves.
No, from what we are seeing, that from the report coming is that You see, what is good for
see,
them?
I
They
don't
want
see,
money.
see, coach. Hold on. See, coach, I like you.
Yes, I'm telling you.
You are my brother. You are my friend. I have seen you suffer heartbreak over transfers that have
Okay,
not
let me
happened.
know.
Okay,
See,
well,
Enzo Fernandez.
what been on
see, hold on. You see,
What been on
I know how much you want to see Victor Osimhen
Yeah.
in your team.
No, that
Oh, see,
Rather, I
man.
don't want to see
you
Osimhen.
want to see
I
Osimhen.
want to see Jassim having it. If Jassim owns it,
You mean-
everybody will come home.
You mean you have relinquished those dreams for now?
No, not now. No, but those dreams will never happen under Jim Ratcliffe and those people.
No, coach, you see,
I'm
you
just
see,
saying
coach,
that don't
you
set
are
yourself up for
misunderstanding. I'm
heartbreak.
saying that
Yeah.
you think Jassim is the best for United. If he's also the best for their pockets, that's who they will choose. That's at the end of the day. They don't even
Right
care.
now, where the team is going, take 3 billion, and in 4 years, take 5.5 billion, and come and do business.
What if
in
they see
Qatar.
5.5 billion and still say, I think Man United is worth more than 5.5?
You see, right now, what they are waiting for is whether we'll qualify for the Champions League.
Mm.
If they qualify, we'll add the 500 million, 6 billion, take and go. Shake our cable.
But honestly, I honestly think Real Madrid, is in such a high crucial game. It's all about the fine margins. And when you look at Manchester City, their passing sequences were so on
Charlie, they
point.
were too good.
And you needed guys who had the legs to cover the ground. And unfortunately, Real Madrid didn't have that. You can't ask Valverde to do all that hard running.
All that hard work. Okay, he made
Tony
no
Cruz,
surrendering.
Tony Cruz and Luka Modric don't have that in them at this point in
gassed
So
in their
how
careers.
does Carlo just I know I don't want to elongate
Yeah.
this
How
but
does
how
Carlo-
does Carlo think that those options are better than say a Tchouameni and maybe perhaps sticking Kamavinga in his natural position?
He had that option
I'll
because
come to you.
because of Militao's return. He could have paired Militao and Alaba in the middle and Militao and Rudiger in the
Rudiger.
middle.
And played Alaba as left back.
Alaba as
Alaba goes to
left
left
back.
back,
And
yeah.
he made that move in the second half, but it was too late. It was too late. You see, that's the thing. And-
Bench Rudiger.
Let's wrap it
and
up
then
and let me
because
get
of the athleticism, that's what gave Manchester City an edge over Real Madrid in that midfield. It reminded me of this game, the Euro 2020 game between England and Croatia. Croatia had all the talented players, but England because England also had quality players, they used that athleticism advantage to bust that game and they beat them. And against Inter Milan, I don't see that happening because of those wing backs. Those Inter Milan wing backs are as energetic and as athletic as they come. Denzel Dumfries and Di Marco, those guys are athletic as they come, and they will make up for the drop off in
Like I'm
that
saying-
difference between Çalhanoğlu and Mkhitaryan.
Fair enough.
Honestly, that's why I see Inter Milan
Fair enough.
getting an edge over.
But you see, you're
Manchester
always
City in
talking
there.
as if players don't have an error in them. When you are being
Oh, yes, they
pressed
have an error in them.
relentlessly for almost the first minute, there's
But
every
you-
chance that you make mistakes. Let me take Susu's thoughts on what he thinks. So the Inter Milan bit.
The reason
and
I
then,
don't
yeah.
think I say on paper this is going to be the easiest final Pep will get. If you look at most of the finals Pep has played, you can point to 3, 4, 5 players that could be in his team. You look at this Inter Milan team, I don't think more than 2, 3 players make it into his first 18.
They don't want to.
First 18.
Yes.
First 18.
Yes.
Not starting lineup.
Hold
Are you
on,
kidding me?
hold on.
Yes.
Let's take your thoughts on who Inter
Don't
Milan.
let that EPL.
Let's
EPL
say who are
It's
Inter
not
Milan.
about
Let's
EPL
say if we are writing.
not about
Let's
EPL.
let's say if we are
I think
previewing the game.
I've been
Who are Inter Milan's top 3 players Manchester City will have to worry about?
I'm saying if you compare the squads,
Yeah.
if you were to say that okay, Inter Milan Man City are going to Inter Milan, they are shopping. Which players will actually
Catch
come
their
to
eye
Man
and
City
will make it into
and
that.
could make it into their squad? I think it's Bastoni,
Okay, the left
their
centre back.
Yeah.
because left-footed centre back, he's great. I think
Big tall guy can
he
pass the
can
ball.
he can do what Nathan Ake does and better.
Mm.
I think Barella could play in the Man City midfield. He's a quality player. And I think Lautaro Martinez is probably better than Julian Alvarez. Despite
We saw
not probably. It's
despite what
We
he
saw
did at the-
Lautaro Martinez.
That's what I'm saying. The World Cup he didn't play well at the World Cup. I'm saying that despite the World Cup, I think he's a better player. Apart from that, if any of those players were in Man City, they would not be regularly in the first.
That's your
18.
argument. So let's.
First 18. Are you telling me Dumfries can
First-
make the first
is
18 in Man
first
City?
18 a reach?
He said,
I'm not joking.
Are you telling me
see,
Dumfries
there's
can't
a
make the
reason
first
Dumfries
18?
is flying forward at wing back. He doesn't have the defensive acumen to play.
If Kyle Walker can play in this Man City team, are you telling me Denzel Dumfries
But
can't play in this
Walker
Man
is
City
better
team?
defensively
Are you
than
kidding
Denzel
me?
Dumfries.
Are you telling me DeMarco can't play in this Man City team?
But those are
He can't
actually
make
really
the
good
18.
players, though.
The
It's not
18
that they are
for Man
not good
City.
players. I'm just
Come
saying
on,
the
man.
quality of
You
Man
see,
City.
you
That's
see,
what I'm saying. It's not
Listen
about
to Susu.
Yeah, says,
And
come
listening
on,
to
man.
Yao.
See,
The fact of the matter is, I even think Onana is better than
any day.
actually,
Yes.
you are right.
Ederson, yeah.
Let me-
Onana over, yeah.
But I forgot
It's
about
better
Onana.
than
Onana over
see.
Ederson,
I
yeah.
forgot about Onana.
The
I'll
English PR
concede.
glow.
Yeah.
That's the English
No,
PR
I
glow.
just-
Real PR
so
glow.
because you see,
Exactly.
at the
I
end of the
forgot
day,
about
look,
Onana. I'll concede that one because I've said
Onana
it.
is
I've
better
said it,
than
and I've
Ederson.
said it many times. I don't rate Edison. So this one
yes,
is not.
So,
it's not
so,
a surprise.
so see, you don't need. We have seen teams very bad teams. When I say very bad, if you compare them to their opponent,
Chelsea and Bayern Munich
who
2012.
who go to the finals, and the team that play, let's say the worst football
Wins.
the cup.
Yeah.
Arambo.
So it is not going to be an easy final.
Never.
I have never seen an Italian team go to a final and lie very low. They will always bring that Italian Catenaccio mentality with them.
And this Inter
And if you want to beat Man City, you need to defend as a unit. You don't bet against an Italian opposition.
They've done it before.
We
Remember
just
Jose
saw
Mourinho's
Yeah,
Inter
we
Milan?
just saw what Roma did yesterday.
Xabi Alonso looked stressed at
One
the point.
shot on target. Adjei-Mintah. It's Man City. They will pass it around.
Xabi Alonso
Yeah.
could not believe the football he was watching. And I was shocked he was shocked. Because
Yeah.
that was
And
that was
part-
his
His
manager.
manager, yeah.
The reason, and part of it, you are only as good as your weakest player. And you see players like Matthew Darmian starting
Yeah.
regularly,
Yeah.
Mkhitaryan. Those are the part of the reasons I am not too high on it. I'm not saying that they can't
They
win,
have
but I'm
weaknesses
saying
that are glaring.
But I'm saying that on paper,
Mkhitaryan is not a bad player.
he's not a bad
It
player.
didn't
But
work
he's
out for him.
past his
Yeah.
prime.
No, but
No, it's
no,
not.
you see, he look, Mkhitaryan is a better midfielder than John Stones all day.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All day. If
Fair
he's on his game, who
Fair
is John? Nobody John Stones.
Fair enough.
I'm not saying that they are not good players, but I'm saying that there's a bit of a gap in quality. Because Mkhitaryan, what he's doing in the team, he's doing what Kevin De Bruyne or Gundogan is doing. That's who we are
Look,
comparing.
that
him to.
Cholonoglu boy,
I can't tell how.
he walks into this Man City team.
technical
He
ability.
does not.
Based on
All
technical
day.
ability, that guy can walk
Ah,
into
you
Man
walk
City
into
team.
Hold
Hold on. Let's not get.
Cholonoglu.
I've watched him for
no,
years.
Hold on. Let me just say something. I think it's neither here nor there. I'll say this. On technical quality alone, he certainly does. On consistency,
no.
he
That
does
one they
not.
are giving
I think that's where the
But
argument
the
ends.
technical ability
Mhm.
part, you can't just because you can strike the ball well. He can strike the ball
He's
better
not
than
striking
any.
the ball
Let me
well.
finish.
He
Let-
can
let
dribble.
me
He
finish.
can.
Let me finish.
You finish.
Let me finish. He can strike the ball as well as Kevin De Bruyne, but there's so much more to his game. There's a reason he's not consistently as good as Kevin De Bruyne. There's a lot of
Fair enough.
poor decisions, poor movement. He's just not as good. If it comes to, let's say, corners, free kicks, and those things, he's better than any player on both
Passing
teams.
technique,
Yeah,
like
but
long passing.
So
that
tell Susu that maybe on that final,
Yeah.
he will show up.
It's just like
That's
listen,
fair.
no,
That's
you-
fair.
It's about what happens on the
No,
day.
but no,
oh.
listen
Exactly.
to what
If
I
he
said.
shows up-
I didn't say the game is no. I said that on paper, if you look at the two teams,
Yeah.
the gap
City
is
definitely,
huge.
City definitely have a
That's
better.
all
just
I'm
a
saying.
quick one to add
That's
to
all
what
I'm
Coach
saying.
said.
Yeah.
Let's
The
hurry up,
Catenaccio
hurry up.
style of football, Inter Milan can play it, and the advantage that they have is
They have top attackers.
Simeone, they have
Dzeko,
a focal
Lautaro
point.
Martinez,
They don't need to
Lukaku.
pass the ball
Oh.
from the
And
back.
in
One
Simeone,
person.
in Simeone, they have a coach who has instilled that Man City flair in this Inter side. They can play like Man City. That's the thing. They can defend like an Italian team. Can Man City defend like an Italian team? They can't. But Inter Milan can play like Man City. They can play like Man City. Simone Inzaghi's Inter Milan team can play like Manchester City. Same as Mauricio Sarri's Lazio.
Yao.
Same as Luciano Spalletti's Napoli.
Yeah, to
They
end
can
the
play like
conversation.
Manchester City.
To end the conversation, they don't need to pass the ball from the back.
They just need to
I
score.
think Eden
Yeah.
Dzeko bullies every Man City player in the air. That is a natural focal point. Kenya na
Look,
again,
I'm open to.
He's a better Lakers
See,
I'm
striker
open to
than
what football.
Haaland.
I'm open to what football.
Yeah, that one is
I'm
true.
open to what football has to offer. Let me talk about something that piques my attention. Again,
one.
Italian football has been poor for a minute. If you've been really
Yeah,
following
for
what's been
some-
going
for
on
some
down there,
time
they've
now.
been really poor for a minute. But this looks like a golden year for them. So we even had Juventus in the semi-final. We had AS Roma in the semi-final. So they were sure money to make the final.
3 Italians are in the
end,
3 finals.
In the end, Roma made it to the final.
Yeah.
In the Conference League, Fiorentina made it to the Conference League final. And then you have Inter Milan in the Champions.
Shouts to Alfred Duncan.
What's going on there? What's going on there?
It's the coaching we talked about. There's a lot of good quality coaches. We see them doing their work. And I think especially in the Europa League and Conference League, they are playing on a more level playing field. Because when you come to the Champions League, there's the Bayern Munich, the Real Madrids, even Barca of recent time. Maybe in the last 2-3 years, they've gone down a bit. But when you are consistently having to play teams that are on a different level with world-class players, with the Messi's, Ronaldo's, Neymar's of the world, it's sometimes difficult when you are not on that level. Exactly. But then in the Europa League, where you are playing teams of a similar level, your coaching ability can stand out more, which is why we are seeing Mourinho having very good seasons in the Conference League and the Europa League. Because with that Roma team, they are playing teams at a similar level. I think if, let's say, they had Roma, as currently constructed, had to play against Bayern or Man City, and he tried to defend, even though the fundamentals are there, there's only so much you can do with the quality of players they have. When you go to the Europa League, with all due respect to Bayer Leverkusen and whoever, they are good teams, but Roma have enough to match them. You have someone like Dybala, you have someone like Tammy Abraham. You can see that these teams have good attackers, but so do Roma. But if it were come to the Champions League, it could be a problem. So you are seeing that because the Italian teams, that's why we are not seeing them in the Champions League. But if you go to the Europa League and the Conference League, they are more able to compete because at the end of the day, they still have more money than most leagues. It's still the 4th or 5th richest league in the world. So when they start being compared to the Swiss teams, the Belgian teams and co, they are more able to compete because of that. So it worked out for them. The managers have got it right this year. Both have very interesting finals because West Ham Fiorentina will be an interesting final. Sevilla Roma, very interesting final. And like we said, even though I think there's a big gap in quality for Inter Milan. I'm not saying they are going to come and get beat 5-0. That's not what I'm trying to say.
I think what has worked for the Italian league, Ben, is the fact that yes, there's no huge money there like the EPLs and La Liga, but they've accepted that it's a league where you can come as a top talent and relaunch your career. You look at the team of Inter Milan. There's lots of players who, I don't know,
rejected
players in Europe. Top
Even
players.
Mkhitaryan
was always a top player at Man United until he fell.
He was a top player from his days in
AS Roma now
Shakhtar,
here. You look at Lukaku, Chelsea and all that. You look at Dzeko. Yeah. If you want to go to AS Roma, look at their talents over there. Smalling or Man United. So it's like
Dybala was even
Man United was thrown. Smalling was thrown away by Manchester United.
So the Serie A. So
Matic was thrown away.
Exactly.
Matic is thriving at AC Milan.
So it has become a league for the top rejects to come and try and.
They're also not afraid of older players.
Exactly, and it's working for them brilliantly.
If you remember, Dzeko went to Roma from Man City, was scoring regularly. Roma thought that his wages were too high. 36. Inter Milan have brought him in. He's still performing.
Dzeko can play
and
for 40.
Their model is a very top model. So it's like, okay, we are here. If you think that they're not good enough in the EPLs and the La Liga,
let them come. Revive your career.
And it's working for them brilliantly. And also, I think this season they've had top managers who are making.
I like that point about actually reviving players that have been cast.
Exactly.
That's a very it's a very stark example.
It's down to the tactics.
Quick thoughts on which will be a greater achievement: Jose Mourinho achieving back-to-back European success. Jose Mourinho achieving back-to-back success with this AS Roma team, as compared to Pep Guardiola winning the Champions League that has eluded him finally with this Man City team. Which for you is a bigger achievement?
I think all day I'll give it to Jose. Because
same here.
Because of what he has to work with in terms of money.
But like Susu said, he plays against teams on his team's level.
No, that is the level. That is the competition.
That's what
he
finds
finds himself.
Okay.
You understand? That's the competition he finds himself. If you give him the Man City team with the Champions League slot, you don't bet against him taking them to the final, isn't it? But the records are there. But if you give Pep Guardiola this Roma team, would he take them to the Europa? Maybe yes, maybe no.
Pep Guardiola
I
No,
think,
no,
no, no, no, no, no,
I
coach.
think, I think,
I said maybe
I
yes.
don't hold on.
See,
I don't,
said
I, we
maybe
don't,
yes,
we don't,
maybe
I
no.
don't have enough time to get into
I
it
said
here.
maybe yes, maybe no.
Please finish.
Coach, it's
your
a no.
remarks.
Because we are talking about top elite coaches
Thank
here.
you.
But at the end of the day, I want to say that look, if Jose, with what he's had to work with, for I think this is third season, second season,
Back to back final.
back continental final.
That man
Look,
is a genius.
I think if he wins it, I will see his achievement as a better one than what Pep.
And just to
Thoughts on
add,
that?
his style is more suited to these tournaments, which is why you see in the league, they finished sixth. He came, he also finished sixth. So in the league, maybe this season they'll finish fifth. The progress is a bit slower. But in the competitions, because if you look at a lot of their games, away, maybe they go and draw, maybe they lose. They come in the second leg, or they come to win their home legs. It's similar to what Man City have been doing.
Yeah.
It works for these one-off games. You can game plan and stuff. And when you also look at the Roma team, the reason why I don't think Pep will be able to use this Roma team is if Pep is managing a team, you need a team with solid midfielders, solid attackers. I don't think Pep can play as pragmatic as Jose. And the team he has is more suited to playing pragmatic football. I think Pep would struggle with this team because I think this team will struggle to string 15 passes together regularly in the sense that they will dominate possession and play that type of football.
Yeah.
I think if they were to try and play that type
Exactly.
of football, they'd lose a lot because
They'll get
they wouldn't
beat
be
a
as
lot.
compact. So I think
Yeah.
Jose has been very pragmatic and used the team. Speaking about the accomplishments, I don't think it's a good comparison for me because they are playing in different fields.
And we know
No,
that
no, no.
one.
Yeah, we know that one. But
That's what we
see,
know, but
admit it.
So for me, because they are playing in
It's
different
Jose.
fields,
It's Jose. Just admit it.
No,
It's Jose
but the
Mourinho.
denominator is the
See,
degree of difficulty. Who is
it's
having
Jose
to overcome
Mourinho.
more?
Basically what we are
Who's
saying.
having to overcome more?
It's Jose Mourinho.
Overcome more. Man City should have even beaten Chelsea before. We shouldn't be talking about Pep's first Champions League with City.
Exactly.
Now. It should have happened
Exactly.
already.
It's Jose,
So if
yeah.
that's the case, it's easily Jose. But for me, I just don't think it's anyway.
For me, it's Jose because if
Easily
for
Jose.
a Man City
Easily
team
Jose.
that can have players on the bench worth up to 450 million pounds, for me, definitely, if you win with such a team, it's no big deal.
I'll let Arnold Ayi introduce himself, and then he'll tell us all about, the organization itself. So Arnold, it's good to have you on Sports Panorama. Please come a little closer.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. What's the name of the franchise? Cardio Kickboxing.
Cardio Kickbox GH.
Okay, Cardio Kickboxing GH. Is it a
Cardio
federation?
Kickbox GH.
Okay. Cardio Kickbox GH. Is it a federation? Is it a club? Is it what exactly is it?
Oh, okay. It's a fitness program that I have created myself. It's my own creativity. Like Billy Brands came out with Taibo, Shanti came out in Sanity Workouts, and others. So this is my own creativity, and it's time for Daniel to do something like that.
Interesting. So it's what a kickboxing workout. Is it competitive fighting versus fighting against each other? What format exactly does it take?
Okay, it's a combination of martial arts, aerobic moves, and a bit of boxing. Yeah, so I'm a martial artist. I'm a taekwondo, second and black belt. I did a bit of Shotokan. I did a bit of Aikido, and I did a bit of Shotokan. Sorry.
You've been working.
Kickboxing. So I put everything together. I blend everything together. Then a bit of squats. Also twists, jumping jacks, kicks. So I just sat down and put everything together. Yeah, and I was able to create this workout.
So it's a workout.
It's a workout.
how do people get involved?
Okay, for now, though we are yet to launch the program. I had a lot of people that are patronizing this workout, and then the place is fitness one where I work at One Airport Square building. We are on the first floor. So
if you want to participate, that's where you need to come.
That's when, and we also do one-on-one workout. We do home services. Okay. Yeah, so I do a lot of personal training.
So when are you launching the fitness workout thing properly?
Yeah, I'm launching it on the 3rd of June. Okay. Barely 2 weeks from now. Okay. And the venue is Vision Social Center. Their event hall. The time is 4 p.m. sharp. It's going to be strictly by invitation.
Okay.
Yeah. So on that day, we're going to do the demonstration of taekwondo. Okay. Demonstration, bodybuilding flex show. Okay. Then I will do kickboxing. Okay. You know, we just going to break it into two. We do the group kickboxing demonstration and the one-on-one demonstration. The group kickboxing demonstration, you know, you don't need to wear gloves. Yeah, but the one-on-one, you need to wear gloves because I'm going to hold the focus pad and teach you about. So it's all about combination, calculation. You have to think a bit. And we have beginners. We have intermediate. And then we have a high and low impact and advanced workout. Okay. So
sounds good. Cardio kickboxing.
Cardio kickbox.
Cardio kickbox. Sorry, yeah. Cardio kickbox. Pardon me. So that's what it's about. Thank you for coming, Arnold Ai. So I'm sure people have heard out where it's been held at, the date and everything for it. So we'll be looking forward to it. We'll see if we can come through and capture some visuals.
You guys are my media partners, so
yeah. So we'll definitely come through for you. See what happens there. So thank you for passing through to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate that. Look forward to seeing
cardio kickbox. I should be getting out there, getting my kickboxing thing going. So yes, thank you. Let me read a few messages coming through so far. So Aziz from WA says that they are okay. I don't think this is for me. Okay, this one says, I salute the panel and the studio. Citi will just do what Barca couldn't do to enter this season in the finals. Assorted waist beads, Esquire from Ashima. Charlie, your name is loaded. This one here says, Nketsia, tell coach Jeko can't bully any of our centre backs, a 36 or 37-year-old man. Ahmed from Lashibi with that one. Ni Tojo from Tema Town says, Man City and Pep did a very good job mapping out, or I think marking out Kamavinga, you want to say. David from Kaswa says, will Man City be rewarded with the EPL if they win against Chelsea? Well, that depends what happens in the Arsenal game. If Arsenal, I believe if they lose that game.
Yeah, I think Arsenal will play first.
Yeah.
So by the time Man
depending
City,
on what happens in the Arsenal game, they could be crowned champions this weekend.
I think if Arsenal win and they win, they are champions. If Arsenal lose, they'll be champions before they play. If Arsenal draw, they'll be champions before they play.
Interesting thoughts there. So David from Kaswa is asking about that. Jeff from Madina says, like, you guys are forgetting about Didi Dramani, who is technical director of ITG.
I mentioned
we definitely spoke about that. This one says, Charlie, the partnership had to folk do some with Hoffenheim. Kotoko, then Southampton, nothing better. Hashtag Sports Panorama. Southampton have been relegated. This one here says that Arsenal couldn't win the league because of their late form lost, but it was standard Man City have set in the Premier League. In order to win the league in the presence of Guardiola, you have to get 101 points plus more goals difference.
So I've not looked at that, but how many points?
No, the Guardiola standard.
If they were to win their remaining 3 games, what would be their total point accumulated? Is it past 100?
Oh, no, it won't reach 100.
I'm not sure it will reach the 99 they won.
Let me actually check out the table.
It will in the 90s somewhere this year.
Let me check out the table and what it looks like now. So they are on 85. Arsenal on 81.
So if they get,
what is actually the average he's used to win the league so far?
Do they win the league this weekend?
Yeah. If they win,
so
they are champions.
If Arsenal lose or City win,
yes.
Yeah.
Interesting thoughts there. So those are the thoughts on that one. We'll discuss the team of the or player of the season nominees next week. We'll do it along with all the other season awards and whatever to be handed out. Let's do some quick shouts before we sign our coach. What's going on? Quick shouts.
Charlie, I just want to say hello to my mom. I miss her, and then I'm planning to go visit her, and very soon.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
Quick one.
yeah. Shout out to the Panoramians. Is that how you say it?
I think that's
Panorama.
Right now, I'm tired, so I've accepted anything.
But we need an official name for them.
We need an official name.
No, Panoramas
Yes,
for
I
the
think-
men
I
and then
think our
Panorama
social
women.
media people should-
Behave yourself over there.
I think our social media people should do a poll.
Exactly.
where
Yeah. We
kind
need a
of
name.
Figure out their name.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just want to give a shout out to the Panoramians.
Yeah.
They're with us every week. We
Yeah.
appreciate. We come here for you,
Yeah.
and you come to your radio for us. So we appreciate you.
Exactly.
So shout out to
Completely.
you
So
guys.
shout outs to Ishmael Kwaku. We haven't spoken in a while. Colleague journalist. These days, I don't even know what you're doing anymore. Tari boy. He says that Zamalek took care of Emmanuel Kwashi, Ghana's last
Yeah.
captain,
Yeah,
to lift
yeah,
the
yeah,
AFCON
yeah.
when
That's what I
they
wanted
got
to say.
wind of an ailment. So you see, that's what's been going on. So we need to do better with our football. Betway, though, proud sponsors of Sports Panorama. They say, Charlie, action still day Betway will bet a minimum of 50 pesos only on Betway Aviator. Charlie, this weekend, boys for chop last bet. You know, the league is wrapping up. So if you get some money, chop, you will look sharp and chop
Hey,
the
we'll
money now.
complete the week next
Yes,
week.
yes. The league is wrapping up. That's how crazy it is. It's been a whirlwind of a
Yeah.
season. They say, Charlie, you can win smartphones, vouchers, and many more. I saw it live in color at the last road show. Somebody won a smartphone right in front of me. Took it away. Ian, his leaders, I don't know what they would do with it. Anyway, they say sign up and play at betway.com.ga. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming
But
Commission.
I have
of
a
Ghana.
problem. They don't allow us to.
Yeah.
When we go for a road show,
They-
they exclude us from the jackpot, from those things. Why?
No, you have to
So,
stake a bet.
You have to stake a bet.
I have to
Be
stick
eligible.
it.
You have to
Some-
take a bet.
something I've done before. So,
Look at
but my shout out,
I don't
I
get
think we have to pass. Okay, that one.
Yeah.
But there were one that
Maybe,
you.
maybe I should lobby for them
a
to do one for
scoreline.
the, maybe I should lobby for them to do one for the panel and
for
the
the panel and the
presenters.
presenters.
I'll put that word in.
so yeah, shout out to two Panoramans.
Who are these?
So one is Dominic Feyin Annan. Yeah, he's with the GRA Custom Division.
Okay.
His nickname
Nice
is
one.
Gucci.
Hey, Charlie.
Yeah, Gucci.
Hey, Charlie.
So Pichichi Gucci.
Oh, Charlie.
A very tight friend of Gabi Milito. Yeah,
In the family.
exactly. So Gucci, we're going to you this Friday
Yeah.
evening, and also to Mr. George Moke.
Okay.
He's in the listening at Nima at the moment.
But it-
he's a
okay.
strong
God
Panorama
bless.
as well.
God bless. We love him.
Yeah.
But
Mr. George Moke.
I wanted to ask you
Yeah.
something. Like, you never give any shouts to your research fellows.
So just like when I is looking for our DNA, I'm not done with my list yet.
Whatever that means. Now, Shell Helix are also proud sponsors of the show. Everybody's looking for that one thing that pushes them to bring out their best and enables them to reach peak performance. Your car wants this too. And that's why your best bet is to give it Shell Helix engine oil, lubricants mo in Koswahene. Shell Helix is specially designed to bring the best out of your engine, protecting it from wear and tear, while providing the power and performance